Don't ask me. Hello, hi, welcome. So, it's officially Aries season. It's officially spring here in the United States of America. It's a very special Pisces' birthday today. My little brother, he barely made it. He completed the Piscean cycle. He would have been, I guess, there's Aquarius, Pisces, 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 Taurus in the house. But it would have been Aquarius, Pisces, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, which I guess is still fine, but I don't know. Pisces suits him, but that makes sense because he's a Pisces. So I'm just gonna pull a few cards today. I have the Wild Unknown, the Weaver Tarot and Oracle cards. Also, I got one of these. There we go. You still can't tell. It's because this. Is it easier to tell now? I bought another light bulb and it's green. I'm feeling green lately. I'm not sure why, but I'll do this one too. So I got an overhead light and an underhead light. And maybe, hey, Solar Fire, maybe also the camera's like correcting. Let's pull a random card. Yeah, no, you can't tell. What is that? What is that? Oh, it's the Eight of Swords. Why is it the Eight of Swords? Ace of Swords. Eight of Swords, Ace of Swords, that's information. It's almost like, man, I wish I wouldn't have known that. Or I think the Eight of Swords into the Ace of Swords, it's an energy of us thinking a certain way in the past, coming upon new information, realizing maybe we were kind of wrong. And it wasn't what we thought it was. And so it frees us, it liberates us because, you know. But you can tell when I do that. Okay. That's what that is. So I had a dream last night. There's been a theme, a very random, I don't know why I keep having this occur in dreams type of theme. I don't have an Insta for this channel. No, I don't. Um, but last night I had a dream. And it was interesting because it was like this morning. So it was like after Pisces season was officially over. I finally had a dream that explained this random series of occurrences that have been happening in dreams. And I was like, oh, well, waking up, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that's about. The Hermit just came out with the Sovereign of Cups. No, with the Ruler of Cups. This feels like it's a tapping energy. We went inside, we tapped the well. Now there's a spring of self-love bubbling up that allows us more room to love others. With the strength card at the bottom of the deck, it enhances, it fortifies, it strengthens, it deepens, it makes more solid, makes less conditional that love. And it's because love for self is less conditional. But yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. It was such an interesting dream. I'm like, and then because in the dream, I'm like this space is unusually large. Like, I don't know why this space is as large as it is. And that's been another theme in some of the dreams. It's like, I don't know why these spaces are so large. And then cue what happened. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, y'all gonna have to go though. Okay. It's continuously like unraveling, I guess, as I talk about it without talking about it. And maybe it has something to do with that Hermit. So I've been having this, I'll just tell y'all what the dreams were. For a minute now, I've been having these dreams where it's like I'll try to shower, but the shower won't have a curtain, or it'll be in the middle of a room that like people use, and I'm like, can y'all leave so I can take a shower, please? And then I remember one time the shower had a curtain, but it was like it didn't go all the way down. So I'm like, the part that I want covered isn't even covered. So what's the point of this curtain? It went to like maybe like my belly or something. I'm like, okay. And then I started having dreams where it's like I had my own bathroom, but people just kept coming in the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm locking the doors. I'm like, how are y'all getting in here? And so last night I had a dream with, it's interesting because I also saw one of my not great roommates. I know, right? I saw him in a dream, but I had a dream last night that I had some roommates and we were talking about our rooms. And I was like, well, my bathroom is like really big for some reason. And so it's like there was a locker room and then like a communal bathroom. And they were like all these showers, which one do you use? I was like, I only use one shower because I'm not trying to clean all of these. So I use that one. And then it's like there was a room behind the showers. And I walked in there and it was like there were a whole bunch of people in there. I'm like, what are y'all doing here? Like, this is my room. And apparently it was in the dream, it was this space that had been shut down for a minute. And I guess when I got the room, when I got the lease, when I took ownership of that place, then it opened it back up. And there was a butler guy. I called him the butler. I referenced him as the butler. He was the person who knew what was going on. And he was like, on Fridays, there's like a $10 cover charge or whatever. Or there's a $10 charge and people can come and they can swim all day. A lot of watery stuff. So that's why they had the locker rooms and the showers so people could go swimming. But I'm like, at first I was like, okay, I still don't necessarily want to share my bathroom, but it's fine. There are multiple showers. I I don't remember seeing any curtains in the bathrooms, but at that point in time, I was the only person using it, so it didn't matter. Um, but I remember somebody was doing something or something was going down, and I was like, "This is too much. Like, I'm not doing all this." And I know, like, when this place used to be open, this is how y'all did this, but I'm in charge now, and I'm not doing this. I can't put up with this. This is too much. And so I was talking with Butler, dude. I'm like, okay, some of these folks gotta go. First, I was like, all of these folks gotta go. But then I was like, that ain't necessarily fair to everybody. So I'll go through and I'll decide who gets to stay and who doesn't. And so basically anybody who was causing trouble was gone because I don't have time for that. Um, and I remember there was a girl who was speaking Japanese. So I was Japanese popped up in a dream again. And she was like super fluent. I'm like, I could understand most of what she was saying. But I'm like, girl, like, Choto mo, is it mo yaku onegaishimasu? Is like, can you say it a little slower, please? I think it's mo yaku onegaishimasu. And she said a word, and I didn't know what it meant. But then she started naming people, and I was like, oh, okay. So the word means everybody. I was like, all right. I mean, like, I know what minasan is, but that was one part. And then somebody was there. And so, like, I went through and I selected the people that could stay. And I was like, everybody else got to go. And I went to go tell the butler. And I was like, but then I was like, that's not necessarily right. And so what I'll do is, since I'm not letting people just use this area on Fridays from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that, then it'll like people can come and it'll be free. Now they don't have to pay, but they got to leave. They got to leave when it's time for them to go. And they can't be here, but it ain't their time. But it'll be free. And then I was talking to somebody and they were saying something. And I was like, okay, I can do Wednesdays and Thursdays too, but it's going to be like until 7. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So that was that part of the dream, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. It was just a weird little thing to happen at the end of me having all those dreams where I couldn't shower in peace because people were always walking in the bathroom. Okay. Now that that's out, I'm going to shuffle both of these. We're just going to see what comes out for now, for today. And we'll move on. It was just such an interesting, it was such an interesting dream. And I saw one of my best friends in the dream. I was like, oh, snap, hey, girl. She's been popping up more and more lately, a little bit. But I guess that's not surprising because we work together. So I was like, I speak a little Japanese. Nihongo ga chotto wakarimasu. Chotto hanasete. Yomete. What else? Hanasete, yomete. Is that it? I can speak it. I can read it. Jozu janai. Kero. Chotto wakarimasu. I'm not great at it, but I can understand a little bit. So I'm going to keep going until something hits the table. And I don't know how I ended up like inheriting ownership over that. I do remember being confused though, because I was like the room was a fairly decent size. The room actually, I can't remember if it was that dream or another one, but the room was like, it looked like an office, not an office space, but it had a lot of spaces, like hallways with like little labs and rooms and stuff. I think that was actually a different dream. But I just remember being like, I don't need like all these lockers. I don't need all this shower space. And then it's like, oh, like people are like, okay. So it was like my space, but it wasn't mine fully. But it was because I got to decide who could be there and how long they could be there. I don't know. And it did require some me that I found in recent days. Because old Patrick probably would have just been like, y'all got a GTFO. I don't care. Y'all want to swim? This place ain't been open. That ain't my problem. It's mine now. And I don't want to have to deal with you. So go find somewhere else. But I was like, you know what? That's not right. And I don't really need the money, so I don't have to charge people for it either. I don't know. There we go. Oh, I've seen you. I have not seen you. So the Explorer and Patience came out. Bottom of the deck is Reclaim. I'm loving that Reclamation energy. It looks like there are two wands. Looks like there's some fang action. Like there's the mouth is some kind of beast. And then the Explorer with the heart at the bottom, the third eye at the top, and Patience with the tortoise shell and the roots. There you go. This is interesting. Oops. Patience and Explorer, it's bringing an energy of, it's like a journey. But there are parts, there are places that we can't necessarily reach yet. They're like doorways, gateways, whatever. And then when certain conditions are met, call it divine timing, they open up and you can explore some more. It feels like with this compass, it feels like if the heart and the third eye aren't aligned, then there you go. Where you can actually see it though. It feels like if the heart and the third eye aren't aligned, then the needle keeps spinning. It's like it can't find north or any direction really. And so maybe that's another piece of the patience. Maybe they're, especially with reclaim at the bottom and nature under reclaim, it speaks of an energy of abundance that is yours. Let's call it an ancestral gift, an ancestral blessing, ancestral wealth. But there are things, there's a place that you need to reach within yourself before it's revealed to you, before you can come into a position of reclaiming it or claiming it. And that's what the roots are here for. It's ancestral. It's either ancestral or it's something that's been in the works for a long time. And it's almost like they've been patient in giving it to you. Spirit has been patient. But it feels like you are the one that needed to come into position to get this. Like I was saying, like my initial reaction was to just like kick everybody out. And then I was like, wait, there are some people here that I know. Some people here that have been with me for a minute. It was a guild energy. I was like, oh, like it felt like they were people who belonged to the same guild as me. And I guess that takes me back to my World of Warcraft days. And I was like, oh, we're in the same guild, so they can say they're cool. But these other people, I don't know them. They gotta go. And then I was like, well, that ain't necessarily right. So what can I do? Okay. I want to clarify this. Who is this? The Eight of Cups. It's interesting that the Eight of Cups came out. I gave the deck 20 shuffles before I came live. Because I was like, if there's anything for me, I want to get it out of the way, right? It was the Eight of Cups, the Tower, the Three of Swords, and then Judgment. And for me, I've been really in my head lately. And it's like I can't get out of my head about it. I've been really in my head lately about like how I feel like I've been extra critical and not as compassionate. And I feel like there were times and spaces that I could have shown up better or I could have been more. There were times where it's like I pride myself on being like open minded, but it's like I'm not even listening. And I didn't realize it until maybe a week ago now. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's not that it's like haunting me. It's just that, and I know I like need to just get over it, but maybe it's because I didn't see it. It's because I don't want to be that anymore. And what's also interesting is that like sometimes in my waking world, I'll be processing something, but when I have a dream, it's like I'll make an old decision or like a lesser healed decision. But in the dream last night, I made the healed decision. But for me, that's what that Eight of Cups, Tower, and Three of Swords is. Like it's been my journey to be so intent on not getting close to people that I willingly don't talk to people who I care about, or I let relationships with people that I care about die, or I do things to sabotage the amount of closeness that I have in certain relationships. I use whatever to justify all kinds of things. And honestly, I'm over it. I feel like I'm strong enough to be more vulnerable. And if I get hurt, then I get hurt. Also, like, I'm not just going to be like open to anybody because it's also to exercise wisdom and proper healthy boundaries. But there's a lot of stuff that I can let go. And it's only been a few days. But it's like there are things that I can enjoy now that I wasn't in the space of being able to enjoy before. It's like I had a stick that was shoved fairly far up in places where sticks shouldn't be, unless they're attached to bodies. Anyway, and so I guess at that time, it was more about the past cycle. But now it's like this is carrying an energy of putting that away. See the third eye at the top of both of these? So it's about closing that cycle. And maybe part of closing that cycle is realizing how much I've potentially missed out on. And it's not realizing how much I've missed out on in a way to make myself feel bad, but it's almost like it's in a way to make me more excited for the future. It's almost like think of the things that I'm now in a position to accept, that I'm now in a position to be strong enough to grow with that I just wasn't back then. Think of what I'm now able to reclaim because this happened. And there's a little bit of a star energy here. I mean, the Eight of Cups in the Witch's Tarot has 8 cups and 8 stars and the moon. So that's not too surprising. And I feel like with this Explorer card, it's like, we go through life just trying to make it, just trying to make sense out of things. And so it's like we're born children. We're born as babies, we become children, and then at some point we get to choose whether we mature into adults or not. And so again, for me, and it's been coming out lately, it's a heavy energy of like, don't curse the path that you've taken because it doesn't define where you end up. And in some ways it makes the story all the more intriguing, enticing, whatever, right? It's like if the whole movie is like nothing happens, then it's people probably don't think it's a great movie. But it's the journey that does. Is this the Eight of Wands? Oh, snap! It is. It's the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wandies. So we got the Eight of Cups, Eight of Wands. The Eight of Swords came out with the Ace of Swords. And if you've been watching me, you already know how I feel about the number 8. But it's fine. So yeah, I think this is more of the second. This is letting the old patterns go, letting the old habits go, and really, again, because it's like your ancestors' spirit has been very patient and has been, it's almost like as you've not claimed what it is that you have to claim, it's been accruing interest. It's been building up even the more. And now that you're in a place and in a space to navigate life with your heart and your vision not being so disconnected, it's like it releases everything. And it's carrying an energy of like the gift that keeps on giving. One second. Three of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. And the Three of Pentacles is that vision and the heart working together. The third eye and the heart, the mind and the heart. The body, I feel like the body more or less takes care of itself, but we still have to take care of it. That's why I'm drinking my water and it looks so clear. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right. It's almost time to get down to the birthday festivities. So I'll pull one more card. And I feel like this is fairly succinct. This is interesting. But also the thing with the Explorer, it's like we're never done exploring. Right? What is it going to be? The Eight of Pentacles. I don't know. I've seen all the eights. Okay. So we go And it feels like the more distance you put between, it feels like spirit is so ready to give you whatever it is that you have coming. That the more distance you put between where you're coming from and yourself, it feels like it's proportionately, it makes you more able to receive what it is that you're going towards. And that makes sense, right? Because if you're going from point A to point B, the further from point A you are, the closer to point B you are. And with this Eight of Wands, it feels like a quickening. It may not be happening in a way that's necessarily immediately obvious or apparent. With it being the Eight of Wands, with it being a card of communication, it could be creative ideas that you're having, or epiphanies, or like, hey, maybe I should do this, maybe I should try that. And then you find out how lucrative or successful or stable or how much better it is than you thought it could be. And that's the Eight of Wands. It's like it's positioning you to receive. And I could have literally stopped because the Three of Pentacles came out right there. And that was on the bottom of the deck. There's a card under it, though. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands. So there's the Two of Wands. There's Reclaim. You see the? Can y'all see that? The Two of Wands is the beginning. This is a whole new cycle. It's a whole new journey. It's a whole new. What is that? It's a whole new world we live in. It's a whole new way to see. It's a whole new place with a brand new attitude, but we still got to catch them all. Pokemon Johto. Pokemon Johto is my favorite one. And the Hanged One is behind the Three of Pentacles. The Hanged One, it feels like us honoring, validating, carrying forward what it was that was forgotten, or what it was that we were so quick to leave behind. And look, we see the upright rose in the Three of Pentacles, and then it's upside down in the Hanged One. I think this is speaking of the concept of the journey as a whole. Like the Hanged One phase was important to enlighten you in some way. But now it's time to take that energy, put it into a perspective that it can be used, and move forward. And look, here, that circle, the ring of enlightenment, is around the head of the rose, or the bulb, right? I don't know. But in this card, it's expanded. And so it's creating more and more space. It's a constructive space rather than a destructive space. It's a space that collaborates and works with others instead of it being in the competitive mode where it takes. It's an expansion of abundance, basically. And look, all the elements are there. We have the wings, we have the fire, we have the water. And we've seen the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. Now it's about putting it all together. And it's almost like without the past being what the past was, there are going to be things that we just aren't able to appreciate. Or it's like now we know how important it is for us to do what it is that we want to do or that we need to do. It's like we know better now. I remember I've said recently that it's like, in order to change the game, we have to understand the rules of the game. And it's been a period of understanding the rules of the game. It's been a period of seeing how sucky the game is. And then the Three of Pentacles is like, okay, well, let's rewrite this, let's redo this, let's scrap it if we have to, and let's come up with something where everybody wins, or where more people win, where people actually enjoy it, and it's not us just trudging through life, shouldering and coping with our misery, hoping to make something happen. And like I said, like this energy has been in the background for a minute. We're finding our way to it, and spirit is ready to release it. And it's time for us to reclaim that energy of reclamation. I love that. All right, I gotta go. I'll catch y'all later. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you rise to the challenges and occasions. I hope that you see what you need to see in the circumstances that present themselves for those things to be seen. And I don't know. Happy astrological year 2021. Happy spring equinox. Happy Aries season. Let's go out and let's do stuff. And, I guess Taurus season is coming next. So we'll get a break. So we'll get rewarded. If you work in Aries, you get to chill in Taurus, right? Is that how that works? All right, bye.